My name's Casey and today I'm playing every game of the year ever made to see which of these games is considered the greatest of all time, aka the GOAT. And we're gonna start with the first game to ever win Game of the Year. Welcome to 2014, a time when celebrities were throwing ice buckets at each other and taking the weirdest selfies ever. But also, the Game Awards gives Dragon Age Inquisition their first ever Game of the Year award.
The winner is Dragon Age Inquisition.
Here's the basic premise. A big old explosion happens, which opens up a rift and lets in a bunch of disgusting demons. And it's your job as the Inquisitor to seal said rift. Oh my god, this is my character. Dude, it's been 10 years. And you have to remember that this game is the first one that happened immediately after the founders left after the insane reception they got for the ending of Mass Effect 3, which means the BioWare team has a lot to prove.
We just finished level 3 and need to tighten up the graphics a little bit.
Great.
But before I show you how they did, we need to go over the rules. Rule number 1, I must dedicate a full day for every single game of the year. Because rule number 2, at the end of every day, I must rank every single game of the year to help us find the greatest of all time, aka the GOAT. And rule number 3, I must play every game of the year on the original console it released on. That way I'll be playing the game exactly as the Game Awards did, including my launch PS4. Now, Dragon Age Inquisition may not look like much today, but back then, these graphics were absolutely goose-tastic. I mean, this main menu screen blew my mind, killing the dragons was like the best thing ever, and this character creator couldn't be any more realistic. Oh my god, bro's a Chad. But what always made the BioWare games so frickin' fantastic was the concept of the dialogue wheel, which they made insanely popular in the Mass Effect games, allowing you as the character to steer the narrative in directions that you wanted based off how you were feeling. And doing so caused an impact on other characters, whether they liked you or not. But you might be wondering what this game didn't get right. Honestly, not much. It's a classic video game RPG where you kill a bunch of dragons, you level up, and you use 6 spells. It's a little dated for the time, but overall, what's not to love? What's crazy is there's no sprint in the game, and somehow, I'm surviving. So the main question I'm sure we all want to know is, did the Game Awards get it right? Personally, my heart has to go to Hearthstone given how much it really affected the gaming industry. But that being said, Dragon Age is still a wonderful time. So let's rank this thing. Now this is the first game of the year we've played so far, and I gotta say I had a fantastic time, but because it is our first, it automatically goes to rank 1, at least for now. Good job, Dragon Age Inquisition. But you know what's even better? Playing Henry Cavill's favorite game. Welcome to 2015, a time when the most viral thing was a dress that sort of looked blue, and Star Wars was still somewhat respected.
Somehow Palpatine returned.
But also The Witcher 3 wins Game of the Year, surprising absolutely no one. Except for me, because it never clicked for me, and I feel really bad about that, and I can feel your judgment from the other side, and I'm sorry, but I'm gonna give it the old college try for like the 4th time today. I'm very excited, and I need you all to pray for me. Now, for those of you who don't know, The Witcher 3 follows the famous monster slayer Geralt of Rivia, aka the guy Henry Cavill absolutely nailed. And in the game, Geralt's whole goal is to search for his adopted daughter Ciri, who's on the run from a group called the Wild Hunt. But the reason this game's so important is because it popularized the now very famous CD Projekt Red, a Polish company with probably the greatest name and/or logo ever made. And while I'm incredibly nervous to play this game for fear of upsetting a lot of people, make no mistake, this game is an achievement. The atmosphere, the story, the characters, and quite frankly, the attention to detail is insane. Oh! Dude, let's go, Roach. In fact, it's this very game that made Henry Cavill fall in love with the world of The Witcher, which if you don't know, actually got its start from books.
The games are, especially Witcher 3, super immersive, and when I was playing it, I always thought it'd make a great movie or TV show.
But there were a few things that personally never hit for me, with the main issue being the movement. And while it plays dramatically better than what I experienced in 2015 on the Xbox One, overall it just feels stiff, and in a way that you just wouldn't expect for a guy known for cracking monsters with magic and silver swords and a second sword. By the way, he has 2 swords, and yes, that is incredible. I can't play Gwent, okay? If we play Gwent, I'm gonna be here all day. But after spending a full day on the Xbox One with The Witcher 3, you're probably wondering if my mind's changed. And I gotta be honest, I think it did. I can't tell you what's different, but I'm insanely locked in right now. You see, something that I don't think is talked about enough is that a lot of these games may not hit you at the exact moment you think that they would. In fact, some of my favorite games of all time have taken me multiple attempts to get into them. And that's just kind of what happens when these things are over 100 hours long. So did the Game Awards get this right?
And the winner for Game of the Year 2015 is The Witcher 3.
Honestly, for me, my heart would probably go to Bloodborne, but even still, I think The Witcher 3 is a phenomenal game, and I've been enjoying the heck out of it. So, let's rank it. Guys, this was just dramatically more fun than I ever expected. It's no surprise, this is our new #1, pushing Dragon Age to #2. It's all I'm thinking about right now. I just want to keep playing it. It's a problem. But you know what's not a problem? Having insider knowledge. For example, did you know that the Game Awards gets more viewers than the Oscars, the Emmys, and the Grammys combined? Well, our pals at boot.dev do. Which is why we've teamed up to give you guys 3 Touchgrass trivia facts while also sharing tools to build your very own games. And in case it wasn't clear, I'm incredibly uncomfortable. Boot.dev. Fact number 1, a small studio broke the record for most wins in a single night, with Clair Obscur's Expedition 33 earning 9 game awards under a $10 million development budget, proving just how valuable learning to program really is, which boot.dev makes learning as easy as possible using quests, leveling, and boss fights, turning what could be a new career into an addictive game anyone can play. Fact number 2, the Game Awards is actually a sequel, with Canadian host Jeff Keighley self-financing the show after the failure that was the Spike Video Game Awards. If you know, you know. Which no doubt was incredibly stressful, unlike boot.dev, who generously offers a 30-day no questions asked refund policy for anyone looking to learn programming. You guys see my calves? It'd be really awkward if you couldn't. Hi. Fact number 3. Story games are getting bigger than you think, with 2023's Game of the Year's script having more words than all of Harry Potter, all of Lord of the Rings, and all of Shakespeare's work combined, which is actually something I can share with boot.dev's AI helper, Boots. Look at this guy, he's adorable. So if learning programming in the form of a game sounds interesting to you, go to boot.dev and use my code Zenkai to get 25% off your entire first year on an annual plan. Now, let's get back inside to play one of gaming's biggest fumbles. Welcome to 2016, a time when Pokemon Go was causing everyone and their dogs to walk into incoming traffic. And some guy named Daniel somehow finds the freshest white vans.
Damn! Daniel, back at it again with the white vans.
But it's also the year that Blizzard won Game of the Year for Overwatch, its first new IP in over a decade. And let me tell you, boy was it something special. Holy smokes, if you were there at launch, you just had a fantastic time. But does it hold up? Well, let's find out. Now, if you don't know, this game is basically Blizzard's failed attempt to making a sequel to World of Warcraft. And after what felt like a decade, they decide to salvage what they had, giving the world Overwatch. And as if they couldn't flex any harder, it was also their first time making a first-person shooter, which at the surface sounds like a whatever compliment, until you realize that every character plays completely differently. I mean, you got a freaking robot guy, you got a monkey guy, you got a guy that we can't say his name anymore guy, and a bunch of other characters the internet is way too obsessed with.
I know what kind of man you are.
Put simply, what Blizzard did with Overwatch changed video games forever, both for the good and the less good. And speaking of good, let me tell you what it nailed, with the first being that each one of these characters is actually directly tied to a specific country, meaning even if you don't like the characters or you're unfamiliar with them, you can always align to the character that matches your country.
Everyone, this this is May. Hi, everyone.
Nice to meet you.
creating this form of human tribalism that was really cool for the time and honestly hasn't been done since. But I can't talk about Overwatch without talking about the most important thing they did, especially in the early days, and that is showing the world how to communicate with your fans.
Now, this is from Shin Q, Nerf South Korea in esports. I think it's less about Nerf South Korea and more about buff the rest of the world.
If you were there when Overwatch originally launched, then you know that this guy right here is the frickin' man and he should be protected at all costs. In fact, can we all just comment, Jeff, we love you, you're the frickin' man? Because I'm sure that'd really make his day.
Lottie-dottie, who gets the Gotti? Here it goes.
But much like any other multiplayer-focused video game, Overwatch started changing. They added more heroes, they increased complexity, and then on top of that, they tried to create Overwatch 2 with a campaign that didn't have a campaign that eventually would become Overwatch 1, and it's a giant mess, and it's just really weird and unfortunate. But the single biggest problem with Overwatch, even today, has to be the impact it left on the video game industry. Because ever since it released in 2016 and blew everyone away, for some reason, everyone and their dogs started making hero shooters, like this one, or this one, or this one. I don't even know what this is, but they made it. So here's the million-dollar question. Did the Game Awards get it right?
The Game of the Year at the Game Awards 2016 is Overwatch.
Look, I'm gonna be honest, when it comes to 2016, Overwatch was by far the game of the year. They definitely knocked it out the park. Having said that, I still have to give hearts to every single other nominee. Because oh my god, did all of these other games slap. This really bummed me out. I mean, I was a huge fan of the original Overwatch. I was there at launch. It blew my mind. It changed the industry. But what I played today is just not that game. So for that reason, I'm gonna be putting Overwatch at number 2. Sorry, Overwatch. But what if I told you that this next game is one of the most important ever created? Welcome to 2017, a time when fellow Canadian Justin Bieber drops Despacito, and Nintendo drops a console that shakes up video games forever. But I'm not going to be playing 2017's Game of the Year on the Nintendo Switch. No sir. I'll be playing it on the Nintendo Wii U, aka the console that almost bankrupted Nintendo, or as I like to call it, the console with the comfiest controller ever. It's like a pillow for your hands, and it feels phenomenal. I have nothing more to add. Let's jump in. Now, if somehow you've never played a Zelda game before, let me give you the basic context. That's gotta be like the best title card drop I've ever seen in my life. The game's story is basically about a young boy named Zelda who wakes up needing to save the Princess Link from some evil pig man named Ganon. And yes, that was a troll that I'm sure already gave me 2,000 comments.
What's wrong with you?
But what makes Zelda so important comes down to the basic philosophy. Because while other open world games had sort of a linear type of progression to them with multiple icons, Breath of the Wild changed everything by somehow letting you do whatever you wanted, however you wanted, including beating the game in the first hour if you wanted to. Greatest game of all time. Greatest game of all time. I love this game. So let's talk about what it nailed. Now, as I mentioned before, the openness of Zelda is incredible, but it's the design that is really the thing that's mind-blowing. That's right, this is the game that introduced climb anywhere mechanics. Before Breath of the Wild, this was never a thing. And sprinkled across the map are hundreds of these little shrines that you can see from miles away. You just go wherever you see things. Like, look, I see this, I want to go there. I see another tower, I want to go there. Each with little handcrafted puzzles that are just so addictive. There's so many moments in this game where I'm like, how did you guys even think of that? You see, at the end of the day, this game took a huge amount of complex ideas, got it to run on the Wii U, and then hid it behind some of the simplest game design I've ever seen. You just wake up and you play. And I gotta say, in this day and age, something like that is insanely refreshing. I don't think people understand how insane it is that they made Ocarina of Time, A Link to the Past, Wind Waker, and this one, and they're all completely different, while all still being a Zelda game. I don't like their pricing system, but overall the games, they got it down. But while it's clear I love the heck out of this game, it did get a few things wrong. Specifically, that the weapons break almost instantly. And while I get the idea on paper, in practice, I hate it. Which brings us to our main questions. Does it hold up? And did the Game Awards get it right? Dude, this game is the freaking best. What are we talking about? Yeah, it holds up. And the fact that it holds up on this freaking potato is, it's mind-blowing to me. Not enough respect was thrown at the Wii U. This is amazing. Now, as far as the Game Awards decision, there is a world in which you can clearly argue that PUBG was the greater game. However, I think from an artistic and experience point of view, it's no question to me, Breath of the Wild changed video games forever. So let's rank it. Guys, it's not even a question to me, okay? This is number one. It's a phenomenal game that is still somehow phenomenal running on a potato. The first hour of this game should quite frankly be studied. It's a phenomenal game. The fact that it's still fun almost 10 years from now, all of these games really, it's just a testament to how far video games have come, and I couldn't be more proud to be playing these games. Absolutely phenomenal. It's our new number one. But boy, oh boy, let me tell you, this next game might be one of the most narratively impressive games I've ever seen. Welcome to 2018, a time when Fortnite shamelessly copies the ever-loving bejesus out of PUBG, and everyone in the world starts joyfully Wakandaing. Wakanda forever! You know what else sparks joy? Playing the 2018 reboot of God of War on a jet engine. It's hot, loud, and quite frankly, it scares me.
I'm in an incredible amount of pain.
Now, if you don't know, this God of War follows the Greek god Kratos and his very weird-looking son through the challenges of fatherhood. And the reason God of War matters comes down to two very simple things. Number one, the way the narrative was designed from a character perspective, from a world perspective, and even reintroducing dialogue as you're doing things was revolutionary. Like, you could just have a conversation passively with your son, have it be interrupted, and then reconvene somewhere on some boat.
Everything is different, boy. Try not to dwell on it.
It sounds like a small thing, but it was incredibly immersive. But the biggest achievement of this game had to be that they moved Kratos from the Greek mythology games that people frickin' loved all the way to the Norse mythology and somehow nailed basically everything. I don't think a single person was mad. Think about that.
This knife. It was hers. Now it is yours.
In fact, let me tell you about what this game nailed. See, the conversations between Kratos and Atreus, his son, are absolutely goose-tastic, leaving you consistently wanting to know more and watching the story unfold. Not only that, but the gameplay was completely different from the previous God of Wars, adding a brand new axe that functioned like Thor's Mjolnir. Okay, well that just felt like the best thing ever. And even if you weren't satisfied, spoilers, they gave you the old Blades of Chaos anyways. Also, Kratos said this line.
Red boy.
Everybody loved it. At the end of the day, the characters in this game just feel incredibly well written, especially given that Kratos used to be like this.
Then prepare for your death, Poseidon.
And in video games, this is a huge feat, but cinematically, this was the first game to popularize the one-take camera. A technique that had been growing in huge popularity in movies was now being translated to video games. And surprisingly, it worked even better than movies, leading to incredible moments that kept you completely immersed. Like the first time we saw this thing. Look at this thing. I don't know what he's saying, but it's the best thing ever. So, did Jeff Kaplan get this right?
The Game Award for Game of the Year goes to God of War.
Well, here's the thing. For personal reasons you can see in my Spider-Man video, I have to give my heart to not only Spider-Man, but Red Dead Redemption 2. But having said that, I still think the Game Awards absolutely slapped with this choice because God of War 2018 is frickin' phenomenal. So, let's rank it. Absolute cinema. That's right, it's going at number 2. this is not gonna get any easier the longer that we go on ranking these Game of the Years, but bro, it is so close to the GOAT. Maybe I'll change my mind later, I don't know. But this is a phenomenal game. I had a blast returning, and the fact that it had such high expectations going in, and it still held up, not enough kind things can be said about God of War 2018. But you know what's better than God of War 2018? Playing what has to be one of the hardest games in the world. He said, sarcastic. Welcome to 2019, a time when millions of Naruto-obsessed individuals raid Area 51, and Marvel's cinematic universe ends on what might be the perfect high note. I don't want to do this. Before I jump into Sekiro, I gotta tell you a personal story. It's October 2011, and a young Casey goes into his local Blockbuster, which is a thing we still had back then, shifting my eyes left and right, looking for something new to rent. Something I'd never heard of before, and I found this, Dark Souls. You guys are never gonna believe this, but I actually still have my original receipt. I bought this October 16th, 2011 from a guy named Jacob. Dude, shout out Jacob, dude. What a legend. And let me tell you, the second I put this game in, I was treated to an experience that felt like the old days of Super Nintendo. And that, especially at the time, was insanely refreshing. But I hate Sekiro. What kind of psychopath can even beat this game? Seriously, I feel like I consistently smashed my head into the wall only to find out that the guy I was fighting was just the tutorial boss. But while I obviously suck at the game, it did a lot right. I mean, this ninja vibe is fan-frickin-tastic. And not only that, but From Software is trying to mix up the craft, with Dark Souls being more of a turtley shield and defend yourself type of game, Bloodborne being a parry type of game, and Sekiro turning into a game with stealth, verticality, and becoming something unlike any other Souls game before it, causing you to only win through skill. There's literally no freaking way! This game is too hard! Speaking of which, let's talk about what I didn't like about the game. Well, basically all of it, but at the same time, that's just what this game is. Meaning, I don't think that it actually missed anything, and if that's for you, that's great. And if it's not, well, I simply do not believe a single person can beat this game. I fundamentally do not believe it. So here's the big question. Did Vin Diesel get this right?
The Game of the Year award goes to Sekiro.
Well, if I had to make a choice, I'd probably give my heart to Resident Evil 2. But it is a remake, and as far as Game of the Year goes, I'd actually say that Sekiro feels like a very fair choice compared to these other games. So, let's rank it. It's last. Now let's move on to what might be the most controversial video game ever made. Welcome to 2020, a time when the world gets increasingly more tense, and every corporate company against remote work somehow figures it out.
Oh, why is he so mad?
You know who else somehow figures it out? Naughty Dog, who creates The Last of Us Part 2 somehow during a pandemic on what has to be the loudest console ever made.
Please kill me.
Dear God, I am so afraid to put this disc inside that machine because I'm pretty sure it's going to explode and I'm gonna die. And if that happens, that's on you. Just know I died trying to entertain you, okay? I'm scared, I'm nervous. Let's jump in. You see, The Last of Us Part 2 continues the story of the original Last of Us, with Joel and Ellie returning 4 years after one of the greatest endings in video game history, which is kind of why this game matters, because it felt like the perfect game to stop at.
Swear to me that everything that you've said about the Fireflies is true.
I swear.
But before we get into the controversies, how about we start with what it did right? For one, the guys at Naughty Dog just seem to have some type of black magic voodoo that I'm just not aware of, because look at these graphics. None of this makes sense. I would even say this looks better than 99% of games today. On top of that, the vibe and the gameplay of the world was just so well done, with animation-heavy movements similar to The Witcher that felt so much more applicable to the world.
Heads up, you're the talk of the town this morning.
It's one of those games where you just slow walk to soak it in, and while it's definitely controversial, you gotta give these guys credit for trying something new. I mean, they took one heck of a swing here. Speaking of which, let's go through what they did wrong. Spoilers, they killed Joel, which I guess is okay from a narrative point of view, but let's be real, we all just want to play as Joel. You see, in the first game, when Joel decides to go save Ellie, he goes on sort of a shooting spree with the last surviving doctors on the planet. But one of these doctors just so happens to be Abby's dad, which for those who don't know, is this girl, causing Ellie to attempt to get her revenge and leave her happyish lifestyle for murder. Look, the theme is revenge is bad, guys, okay? And if you didn't know it, the game really wants you to. So I'm just gonna put the words on the screen, and we're just gonna hold here. We're gonna soak it in, okay? Because that's what Naughty Dog wanted. And I'm just a servant for the video game. We're all having fun here. But why is that so bad? Well, a lot of the pain has to come from Abby, because halfway through the game, spoilers, you just kind of swap and play as her, trying to give you sympathy, which, to be real with you guys, actually worked for me. It's just the first 2 levels, I was like, oh god, you disgust me. You killed like one of the coolest characters ever. I don't like you. I don't want to play as you. Now, I'm not saying they nailed it. A lot of things felt pretty obvious. But overall, for video games, I'm happy that someone out here is trying something new. I mean, could you imagine if 343 made this game? Joel would be Luke Cage, Ellie would look like this, and then that, and then maybe this now. And also, Halo 5 sucks. This is a really bad game. I hate it. I have to say it every video, and I will continue saying it for the rest of time. Which brings us to the Game Awards, and if Christopher Nolan got it right.
And now, the Game of the Year award goes to The Last of Us Part 2.
Look, I think Naughty Dog achieved something that's incredibly impressive. I just never want to play it again because it's sad. Meaning, the Game Awards definitely got this wrong because, guys, it's going at number 5 right underneath Overwatch and directly above Dragon Age Inquisition. And I'm going to tell you right now, this should have won, okay? Ghost of frickin' Tsushima is a banger. The fact that it released the same year and got frickin' snubbed by The Last of Us Part 2 brings a lot of sadness to my heart. And I don't have a reason to play this game in a video form, so this is my reason to talk about it. Naughty Dog, you guys, you always get all your flowers. It's amazing. I'm very happy for you. But if you haven't played this freaking gem, it's probably a top 3 PlayStation exclusive. I remember playing it for the first time and being like, why is no one talking about this game? It's incredible. Shout out Jin Sakai, dude. All right? That's our boy. That's our boy. But you know what's not our boy? Or maybe it is? A game that might be the complete antithesis to The Last of Us Part 2. Welcome to 2021, a time when South Korea flexes how creative they truly are, causing Americans to raid every bank imaginable just to recreate it.
So without further ado, green light.
But you know what didn't break the bank? It Takes Two, one of the smallest Game of the Years on this list, and one of the most unique Game of the Years on this list, because this is the only game that I'll have to play with another person, which means I need to call my wife. Look, the thing that makes It Takes Two so special is the incredibly unique formula that it applies, creating gameplay that required 2 people to work together, like my wife and I. It's easy, you just jump and dash. And let me tell you, it nailed a lot. The aesthetic is awesome, the idea is goose frickin-tastic, and the narrative of saving a marriage by working together in the form of puppets is downright genius. Okay, so I'm gonna hold this, and the electricity is gonna go through my arms, and
This is danger, why would I do that?
Yeah, you're not wrong, but that's just also how video games work. Creating a gameplay sandbox that allows each specific character to have their own strengths to help you beat the level. Also, this book guy is awesome. I love him.
I'm Dr. Haki.
worldwide bestseller and an expert on love.
But I'm gonna be honest, gang, I hated playing it. In fact, there's just no way for me to explain why I didn't like it beyond the fact that I've never had an experience with this game that wasn't me overperforming. Yeah, it's completely safe. Don't worry, I got you. I'm sorry. Or underperforming. Babe, watch the explosions. Watch. Babe. I love you. So, did Neil Druckmann get this right?
And the 2021 Game of the Year is... It Takes Two.
Personally, I would give my heart to Ratchet & Clank, but overall, I think what Hazelight's doing with the two-player gameplay is incredibly unique, and I definitely want more of it, even if I'm not the most fun to play with.
Is it safe?
Yes. Guys, breaking news. My wife has asked me for a divorce, so that's not great. But make no mistake, this is an incredible idea, it has an incredible concept, and one I hope they just keep pushing. I think a sequel to this would go hard. I just also think I'm not wired for this type of game, at least not yet. So for that reason, I'm putting it number 6. But now let's move on to a game that learned from all of its peers in order to create something truly unforgettable. Welcome to 2022, a time when Jenna Ortega had that one dance. Stranger Things brings back that Kate Bush song, and Will Smith does this.
Oh, wow! Wife's name out your mouth!
You know what else I keep out of my wife's mouth? Elden Ring. She'd choke on it. That's crazy. Why would I do something like that? Especially in public. Let's play it. Look, here's what makes Elden Ring so freaking special. At the end of the day, From Software took everything Breath of the Wild did, and everything people loved about Dark Souls, and somehow created one of the richest and most rewarding games I've ever played after hiring what has to be the slowest writer ever.
How the f do you write so many books so fast?
Now, while everybody and their dog has talked about why Elden Ring is so special, I wanted to bring a completely different interpretation on what it actually nailed. Because I think a lot of what Elden Ring did right is actually a response to what everyone in the video game industry was doing wrong. In fact, I'd argue that one of the main reasons that this game exploded in popularity is not only because it's amazing, it's because most open world AAA games were absolutely terrible. I'm once again looking at you, Ubisoft. You need to figure things out, okay? I'm getting worried. But there's really nothing more to say besides that. The art, the world, the aesthetic, the combat, the bosses, and this horse, it's all amazing. Like, I don't know who they have on their art team, but oh my god, did the devs cook. Every frame is like a painting. Make no mistake, this is FromSoft at the very tippy top of their game. So what did they do wrong? Well, I'll be honest, nothing. Because just like Sekiro, Elden Ring isn't trying to be anything other than what it is. It doesn't matter if you're talking about the controls, the UI, the boss encounters, the way it moves, everything is uniquely FromSoft. As I play this, I just know someone's gonna type skill issue, and I want you to know, whoever that may be, I despise you. It's their DNA, and once again, in this day and age, that is so impressive. So did the Game Awards get it right?
Game of the Year winner is Elden Ring!
Yeah, this is 1000% in the running for the GOAT. I have spent countless hours on this game and still am probably nowhere close to beating it, but I just love playing it, which given how I did in Sekiro, I'm gonna take as a win. This game is like something out of the 90s reinterpreted for the modern era, and it slaps harder than Will ever did. This is our new number 1, and it makes me extra happy given how I ranked Sekiro. Now, what we might respect more is this next game, because it's deemed as one of the greatest games to ever exist, and I've never played it. Welcome to 2023, a time that captivated every Bravo-obsessed fan, no thanks to the Scandival, and Barbenheimer becomes a worldwide sensation. But do you know what else became a worldwide sensation? Baldur's Gate 3, said to be so good it turns the common man British. Also, you'll note there's no physical release, and that is because it only released in Japan for some strange reason. So we'll be playing it on the personal computer as a dignified PC player. Let's jump in, shall we? Longer I make these videos, the more insane I start to go, so please send me all of your good vibes. Let's hop in. Now, if you don't know, Baldur's Gate 3 is a Dungeons & Dragons tale about a group of folks infected with a parasite, causing them to work together and search for a cure before they turn into monsters. And what makes this game so interesting is that it's actually a sequel to games made by BioWare, the Dragon Age guys. Except this game was developed by a small team known as Larian, rapidly gaining steam for crafting insanely deep role-playing games, causing Baldur's Gate 3 to be their first huge mainstream hit. In fact, here's what it really nailed. Unlike most modern games, Baldur's Gate 3 starts immediately with what might be some of the craziest CG I've ever seen from a company I had never heard of before this game. There's dragons, there's squidlings, and if this is what Dungeons & Dragons really is, sign me the heck up. Every character had something unique to say.
He's a wizard. All they care about is power.
Every encounter caused something different to happen. And that's on top of all the ways that they interacted with my character and the choices that I made. Like, I don't even know how you write something like this. But the main thing that they nailed, in my opinion, has to be these characters. One of my favorite games of all time is Mass Effect 2, and that's because there was such an attention to detail to every single one of them. Look, I loved it so much that I framed it. And if you want to do the same, just check out the links in the description. I got you. Causing me to never want to let go. It just felt like Star Trek, but in a game, and I didn't even know I liked that back then.
It reminds me of that episode of Star Trek The Next Generation, when they accidentally create Professor Moore.
And playing Baldur's Gate 3, I get the exact same feeling with these characters. But I will say there were a few things I wasn't a huge fan of. There's just a lot to understand. The game plays completely differently to anything I've played before, with the closest being something like XCOM. But the thing about XCOM is everything works with cover in mind, whereas in this game, you're just kind of wandering all over the place, clicking things, trying to come up with unique combinations. And while I'm sure this is incredibly intuitive for the Dungeons & Dragons crowd, for a newbie like myself, I have no idea what I can't or can't do, because the more I played, it kind of just seemed like I could do anything, which oddly made me feel like I couldn't do anything. So here's the big question. Did Timothy Shalamala Ding Dong get it right?
And the game of the year is Baldur's Gate 3.
I'll be honest, I think all of us wanted Marvel's Spider-Man 2 to be the winner, but given how that game actually played out, I think the Game Awards actually made a pretty solid choice with Baldur's Gate 3. Guys, that game was way too long. Like, I put a whole day into that puppy and I feel like I didn't make a frickin' dent. Did I have a good time? Yes. Was it complex? Definitely. Was there a lot to chew on? Dear God, man. How did they even make that? It feels like something that would take 20 years to make. It's vast in a way that I wasn't expecting. So for that reason, I'm putting it above Overwatch at number 5, but just underneath The Witcher, because I feel like I need a decade to see everything this game has to offer. But you know what I can offer? A game specifically made for millennials using the power of nostalgia. Welcome to 2024, a time when Drake and Kendrick decided to give us the greatest year of rap I've ever seen, and this girl goes completely viral for exactly 2 months.
You gotta give him that hawk too and spit on that thing, you get me?
But you know what else was incredibly popular for only 2 months? Astrobot, a game so fantastic and filled with joy that somehow, in this day and age, a small group of people absolutely hate it. Let's play it. Guys, I'm just gonna gush out here for a second because Astrobot is everything I love about Nintendo running on a console that's not a potato. It's made by Team Asobi, and what makes it special is that it's both a love letter to old school Nintendo platformers that have seemingly disappeared for whatever reason, and PlayStation's rich, insanely nostalgic history. Seriously, if you grew up with either of these two, chances are Astrobot will give you a type of joy I cannot even begin to fathom. It's like as if Nintendo hired Walter White to craft nostalgia.
You got me.
In fact, let me tell you what the game nailed. First off, it looks phenomenal. I mean, how could you not smile just looking at this? And the callbacks to old school and modern PlayStation culture is so well done that it actually just makes you angry that no other company is doing it. How are Xbox and Nintendo not making one of these? It's freaking amazing! But in my opinion, what makes Astrobot so special is that it's just a breath of fresh air at this point. Because for the last 15 years, video games have been overly obsessed with the world ending in one of 3 thematic locations: shooty shooty gun place, spacey spacey star space, or Lord of the Rings with less steps. But this game? It's all about the vibes. They added Ape Escape, guys. Ape Escape. I love Ape Escape. The world needs more Ape Escape. It's beautiful. And I know what you're wondering. Did the Game Awards get this right?
And the game of the year is Astrobot.
You're freaking right it got it right, okay? I mean, how many freaking first-person shooters or third-person fantasy role-playing games can an industry possibly get? Balatro, you're amazing. Black Myth Wukong, you're also amazing. But Astrobot is pure joy, and the world could use a lot more of that. Guys, here's the thing. Ranking through all of these Game of the Years is gonna be completely subjective. People are gonna feel certain ways, and that's fine. I get it. They're really special games, but there's always gonna be those few exceptions that are just special to certain people. And when it comes to Astrobot, that is that game for me. Everything about it just harkens back to the old days of games that just relished in, hey, we're in a sunny beach. Hey, the world looks colorful and beautiful, and it's not depressing. There's not guns everywhere. There's not bullets. It's just so refreshing in this day and age, and something that I personally wish would come back with a vengeance. So for that reason, I'm putting Astrobot at number 4. Is it our GOAT? Probably not, but it's one of my favorites. But you know what else I enjoy? Playing a video game with one of the craziest story premises ever made. Welcome to 2025. A time when Tim Sweeney's daughter wore a pair of Levi's jeans, and Katy Perry goes to space for some reason. This is it, our final game, Clair Obscur's Expedition 33, a game I've never played before. And after playing this game and spending a whole day with it, we're gonna finally know which of these 12 Game of the Years is going to be our GOAT, aka the greatest of all time. Look, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. This game might have one of the greatest premises that I've ever heard. There's a giant number in the sky that seems to tick down every single year, and if it matches the age that you are, you die, which forces everyone who's left to band together and create an expedition to try to save everyone else. But that's not the only reason that this game is so special. You see, in today's world, video games cost hundreds of millions of dollars and are developed with a team of sometimes over 10,000. But in the city of Montpellier exists Sandfall Interactive, a French studio with no more than 50 people, somehow creating this game under $10 million. But the cost of games is one thing. The thing that matters most is what it nailed. And boy, oh boy, let me tell you, it nailed a lot. Everything that you see here feels completely unique, and most importantly, feels like something that could only come from this French team. The design of the world, the characters you interact with, and the incredibly unique story somehow creates something so interesting that kept me captivated the entire way through. And this is on top of the fact that this team took traditional turn-based combat, which has pretty much been dead for decades, and somehow revitalized it, making it addictive.
I hope you enjoy plundering the many depths of this multi-layered game. Good day to you.
So here's the final question. Is Clair Obscur's Expedition 33 the greatest of all time, aka the GOAT?
And the game of the year is... Mon ami Clair Obscur, Expedition 33!
To answer that, we have to look back at all the little breadcrumbs that I left you. Because when we do, we'll find that over the last 12 years, we've moved to a world obsessed with handcrafting absurdity in hopes of capturing even just a fraction of the attention that you're told you no longer have.
Damn! Daniel, back at it again with the white van.
That was a greatest night in the history of television.
Spit on that thing, you get me?
Why would I need to do that?
Meaning whatever I choose to be the greatest of all time has to not only hit, it's gotta hit every single one of us.
You can't tell me this is not the greatest game of all time. Like, come on.
Because the true GOATs aren't the ones you choose, but the ones you find when you least expect it.
And that winner is... Stay tuned. Very tightly taped here. The winner is...
Thanks for watching.
You're so good, bro.